Morning, guys. 14 after 11 in the morning is December 22nd. I'm sorry, the 23rd, 2022. Even with the glasses, I'm going crazy at this point. He's trying to do a video letter on this one and then futzing it out. I prefer doing this one myself. So apparently, Grinch and I are on a one term or one name basis at this point. Yeah, I guess. Trying to. Yeah. What I was trying to do was a little bit of computer maintenance at this point. Give me a second here. Are we all nice and corporatized? Are we mouse? Or are we Starfleet? Yeah, tell me about it. Even going outside with a sweater like this, walking my dog, do you think people will be saying something about it? Oblivious. Figures. I'll see something on this guy over here and it's like, eh. Yeah, well, I guess so. But I was answering a couple of posts on social media regarding the grieving and mourning situations that we've got going on. I was trying to retell a story about how my mother was trying to deal with a holiday season like this when she was still alive. In the last few years of her life, she was still struggling to deal with the Christmas spirit. It's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with it, especially when you're lying in a hospital bed and you're feeling like you're dying, but you can't even tell your folks that. Not even the doctors can tell us that. Dave and I were trying to do the 24/7 on her left and right just to make sure she was going to be all right. And thing is, she was getting uterine tract infections left and right and weird infections going on. Her body was shutting down and couldn't fight the infections, apparently. Get her stabilized enough to get her back home another day or two, maybe a few more days, and then back in the hospital again. We're really getting sick and tired of the routine. Facebook, I have to say, is it's just like dealing with the cloud, except they deal with the memories on a day by day basis. If I can go back into memories and archive every one of them, I would. Especially the texts concerning about taking care of Ma all the time. It was a hardship during that time. Harder seasons we dealt with. Last year of her life, she was in hospitals and back and forth. And ambulance crews are starting to know us by name. The fire stations are pissed off at us. Actually, the fire chief kept arguing with my brother last several times in the last year when Mom was alive. How come we didn't keep her in a nursing home? Said Ma wanted us to take care of her at home. That's what we're doing. And the problem is, he didn't believe us. I mean, at one time, we did have somebody try to do a health and welfare checkup on us. Actually, on her. To make sure that my mama was doing all right. And the problem was, she wasn't doing all right. She wasn't. I mean, she kept fighting infections left and right that there was no way that she would have been able to get rid of the damn stuff that she was dealing with. None. We tried. Put her back into the hospital, take her out of the hospital. In a nursing home, she probably would have died because of the infections. They probably couldn't deal with it. We saw how they treated a grandmother and an aunt at one time, and there was no way in hell my family was going back into a nursing home like that. But we damn near came close to one. We came close to it. Mama, the last few weeks of her life. And we kept thinking about it. Not to house her, but just to get rid of all the damn stuff she had in her system. And the problem of this thing was she had almost officially passed away on February 1st, 2013. Night before. Night before. She had already been home maybe about a few days from the hospital. And I tell you, when the emergency room people know her, or at least some of the shifts anyway, that's really bad. That's really bad on our part. Well, it's not bad on our part. It's just she was dying and nobody else could tell us. Not even the primary care physicians. She was on hospice. She was on hospice. Anyway, Kaiser called it one way, where you had received in-home treatment by nurses who would keep track, who contact the doctor. If we had video phones during that time, I mean, connected up to the doctors, we're going to. Well, I don't know if it would help her or not, but it was really getting that bad, and the homeless fire chief almost had an argument with my brother. Last night, actually last day, I'm outside with the dog, and they're practically taking over the entire living room and Ma's bedroom in our apartment. The night before of April, actually of February 1st, she already spent the holiday at home with us a month before. In the month of January, she celebrated a birthday with me. I forgot how old I was during that time. I had to count back on that. 2013, maybe about 47, maybe. Anyway, I'm feeding her pomelos, usually around midnight. She'd get hungry. She'd ask for them, cut one up, section it off. I love them grapefruit knives. She's smiling at me a great deal, but there was a sadness in her eyes, and also relief. She was going to go home and see her family, ultimately. Never said anything, never a word, and I didn't even pay attention to the damn temperature drop if there was any in there. Next thing I know, a few hours later, she's going through the process. I should have called 911 during that time. We called the ambulance. We called the fire department. It fought like about half an hour, almost an hour. Got her back. It almost seemed like a half hour. Seemed like an eternity. They got her stabilized enough, got her to the hospital, and put her on life support. They kept her body alive, but her spirit, I don't know if she was actually responding or not. But hard thing to have it happen right after the winter holidays. I mean, if it happened before the winter holidays, we wouldn't have had a Christmas. Me and my brother. I think we would have gone crazy. And during that time, we were going through eviction process from the apartment management company. This was happening all back in Lancaster, California. They were going to kick us out for some reasons. Maybe they wanted the apartment for something. I don't know. But we had been there almost 5 years. We'd been there 5 years. We hadn't given them any problems. At least tried not to. And if they were going to give us, if they did find any problems with us, they should have talked to us. They didn't. They knew about us, about Ma's situation. Dave told them, kept them apprised. Management didn't give a shit. They wanted us out. Even if Ma was going to be dying right there in the spot, they wanted us out. Had to take him to court, get settlement, get out of the apartment complex. It was just not happening. The truth of the matter is, I was starting to like that apartment complex, even though the neighbors kept moving in and out too many times. Some people actually stayed there for a longer time, and we lost a lot of good people over there. I feel like the same way over here in this apartment complex. It wasn't the easiest holiday season, I'll tell you that much. I mean, I did decorate a big, beautiful Christmas tree. Every time Christmas came, John was going to be doing it. I was doing it all the time. Even the last time, we didn't suspect, we didn't know. We weren't told. Nobody told us that Ma was dying during that time. Did they ever tell us that they had indications that she was possibly going? They call it palliative care. She wasn't able to get to the doctor's office, so the doctor's office would come over there and monitor her vitals. Every week, we'd have a nurse coming in, take the weekly vitals and see what's going on. Unless, of course, she'd been to the hospital in between that week, and the doctors would have more information about what was going on with her. What could they have done? What could we have done better? I mean, every day was coming either we didn't know whether or not we had to have the bag prepped or not. Before Ma started on the palliative care and really became bedridden to where she couldn't get out of bed, she was still able to get in and out in a wheelchair to be wheeled to the car, and we'd take her over to the doctor's office or maybe get her nails done. Always had to have a go bag ready. Every time there was a hospital thing going on, always had to have a go bag of sorts ready to go. Of course, the hospital was getting more and more crazy people in there, so they had to go for more stringent measures of making sure that nothing was coming into the hospital that was going to harm anybody. So you get metal detectors and almost strip surges wand you like crazy. If we had the car, we'd keep some of the stuff that we need inside. The rest of it come inside. Everything else. That sucks when you're on a bus. There's no place to put the stuff. Except maybe in the garbage can. Hopefully nobody will go through the damn stuff and be able to pick up your shit there. It was hard enough going through the emergency room and waiting to hear about what the hell's going on. And then you hear your name being called and get escorted by security. Go through the rows and rows of rooms and rooms. Main center area, and then either to a satellite area or not to a satellite area, depending on how sick Mama was. When they had her stabilized that last time, that ultimate last time, they put her in critical care unit the next floor up on her full life support. Something she never wanted in the first place, but she was going to go through anyway. We didn't realize it until it was too late. Well after Christmas. Well after Christmas. The entire February was devoted to taking care of her. Trying to find out if she was going to be going into a nursing home for more stabilization, or was that it? That was it, though. 18, 19 days later. David was the head of household. He was a primary caregiver. He was the man in charge. He had to sign the damn paperwork. I didn't get that opportunity taking care of David. I was his only caregiver. 5 years later, I kept going into the hospitals with him. I had stuff in the bag for him. I always had a pack of smokes and a can of Coke, or actually a bottle of Coke. And as soon as they did the blood workup, he'd have a sip. He couldn't go out to smoke. If he did, he'd be discharged. It was driving him nuts. They'd give him nicotine patches. It didn't help him much. Sometimes he'd fight like hell in the emergency room to get the hell home. At times he had to be hospitalized. The last few months, the last few weeks, he just gotten home in September. He had already been stroked out already. He already had several mini transischemic attacks on him. And it was hard as hell to deal with. It was hard as hell to deal with. I was trying to deal with it. I was trying to figure out I was going to be able to take care of him better. Maybe we can do it a little better or something. Like I need to get more help in this place. I did. I really did. Still do. One morning he's waking me up. He was already having speech problems anyway, but this time he was a little bit more clear. Should have been something right there. He couldn't breathe. He was having a hard time breathing. The doctors kept looking at his chest x-rays. Every time he got in there, and he was a smoker, they checked his lungs. They didn't see anything. He couldn't breathe. We get him into the ambulance. I already got his stuff ready to go. Go bag, calling contacts for a ride home or anything else I'm going to need at this point over here. Trying to keep on top of that. Transportation. Just in case. I didn't realize it was going to be for me and me alone. Next thing I know, I'm going into a damn ER. What's happening with him? Sorry, I'm just getting the other laptop up. He's already dying. No, actually, he's already dead. He's been dead since he got in through the ambulance bay, and I didn't even realize it. I mean, I had to go through the ER and security shit. September 8th, man. 2018. September 8th. Hardest damn thing for me to deal with. Bad enough I had to deal with bed bug invasions in the whole place. I switched bedrooms around, take care of, close off, get rid of. I mean, I had to do a lot of changes during that time. I really didn't give myself enough time to grieve because I was battling with the damn bugs and battling with management trying to keep a roof over their head. And during that time, I was going to college. I was still in the course of my education. I had to take a semester off. I couldn't deal with it in the fall, and winter session already passed, and then summer, spring, I came back and took maybe about one or two courses. It was hard as hell. September. A friend of mine paid for the cremation. God bless his soul. And I had his ashes, and I put them right next to Mama's. It makes this season harder and harder to deal with because I'm dealing with memories, I'm dealing with loss, and I'm dealing with everybody else that I've left behind me. Just, just gone. As much as I want to feel like a miserable, sorry son of a bitch right now. Not a silly son of a bitch wearing this stuff and acting like crazy. It's just, I don't know why I put the damn thing on in the first place. Trying to find something. It's getting harder and harder for me this time. We're just sitting trying to tell people what kind of holiday season is supposed to be festive, bright, and cheerful as hell. It feels like I'm living in a mortuary right now. I got the feeling of death hanging around this place. The funny thing is, I haven't been visited by any angels ready to take me up, so maybe I am going to hell. I wouldn't put it past God anyway. I wouldn't put it past him. I have a lot of regrets. I got a lot of regrets. Right now I'm trying to fix some more chicken for my dog and a little bit for me. Tomorrow I'm planning on doing a pork roast, turning him into carnitas, put him in a slow cooker, get him some juices and stuff, let him cook for a while, and then have some tacos tomorrow for Christmas Eve dinner and leftovers from tomorrow. Just something I wanted to try new for Christmas dinner. I mean, it's usually either ham or turkey. I always offered ham or turkey. We usually pick out the turkey. Well, since I don't have any turkey and I didn't have a time or the money to get turkey or opportunity to do it, I said, fuck it. I mean, I could do fried chicken, but I spent a lot of my money trying to get at least 3 days worth of food out of what I'm going to be doing here. And I feel like I'm going to maybe getting just 1 or 2 days out of it. But what hurts the most is dealing with the memories and how it's kicking my ass. How it's all kicking my ass right now. I should be feeling grateful that I'm still alive. I'm stuck with the past. I'm stuck with the grieving. I'm stuck with the loss. I got this hat after my brother died. I would have loved seeing this damn thing. I would have loved getting it for him for Christmas. We'd both be wearing these things. But that's not to happen, is it? And wearing a sweater, that was my idea. Well, after my brother passed away, trying to get an ugly sweater, but it's still a fan favorite. And how I'm feeling about my own self. I feel like I've screwed things up in my life that I don't even realize how and why. I think maybe I should have died a long time ago. It's a horrible thought to think and feel during this time. If I start thinking about it more and more, I'm going to get start to doing this kind of shit. I can't I can't stop it. Sometimes it's so damn subtle it's not even funny. I've read so much online. More of the damn algorithms are forcing it more and more, but it doesn't matter. If I'm connecting with it more and more, then I know. I know. No, you're gonna be asking me what? Yeah, well, wait until you're on this pathway. Wait until you're on this pathway, on this thing I am, and then you'll understand what I know. And the thing of it is, I don't want to do it just yet. Even if God had sent an angel sent down and saying it's ready, but I don't think so. Otherwise, I would have had a visitation saying, "John, it's ready. It's time." I probably would have argued, unless I was so damn bone tired, so damn soul tired. I just wanted to go home. I'm gonna regret it. I know I am. That's why I'm not doing it. That's why I'm trying to force myself not to do this kind of thing because I know that it's screwed up. And I'd be facing a disappointed creator of myself. And how did I repay him? By coming home in disgrace. I mean, it was bad enough I was mangled in an accident or death by poisoning or by death by bacteria or something like that. But by my own hands, that means I voluntarily told God to go screw himself. Or if I actually planned on it, that's another thing. Telling him to screw himself. I don't think I could deal with that. I don't think I could deal with that at all. As much as I miss my family, and I had a lot of memories, it's a funny thing we can't pour our memories on our videos and audios more succinctly with visualizations of what we went through and been through. We have to go through interpretations that usually get screwed up over time of what we went through, what we lived through, what we survived through. And how do you tell it all in precise detail so they get an accurate picture? How do you tell the moods and the feelings and the emotions? How can they feel it? I can't unless I've been through it. Not unless I've been through the guy's head and gone through the experience and then had a freak out. But the voluntary kill yourself? As I said before, if I keep trying to entertain it, I know I'm in trouble. And then, how do I justify it? How do I justify it? How do I justify it to myself that I really screwed myself, my life over? How would God forgive me? It's one thing being allowed to feel miserable as hell during this holiday season. I'm trying the devices I know how to, or I thought I knew how to get myself in a better mental place. But I'm doing it badly. I was watching on one of the local stations out here. They had LA Mission, the LA Mission feed over there. They had one of the reporters talking to a couple of people working in the kitchen. I remember the times when, actually, I remember the only time I actually worked in a kitchen, in what they called soup kitchen during those days. But this would be a food delivery to all the people that needed it the most. It was celebrating an actor's birthday. I was in this fan group, and celebrated and in tribute to this actor. We would do this volunteer work, and it also coincided with my own birthday as well. I dragged my poor brother into the situation. I needed transportation up back. I didn't realize he was going to be a volunteer. Could have wasted the gas. He didn't want to waste the gas, so we kept the car. And this was well before we moved out of the valley. We were still living in there. I guess it meant something. Let's do this nut job anyway. Anyway, I wanted to do something, so we did. We spent a few hours of our time volunteering, food prep, and serving the food, putting in these trays. And they were going to be going out to a list of people they had. There was extras, so the people could take them. I said, no, give mine to another person. I didn't feel it was right for me taking food out of someone else's mouth, so I didn't do it. It wouldn't feel right. The volunteers felt okay, but I didn't. But I don't remember taking it or not. But I remember doing the food prep, you know, washing, cutting, and serving. I wanted to do something on my birthday that was worthwhile. That meant the damn. So when I was watching that feed, it hit me, and it hit me hard. The thing is, my brother was there. My brother's not here. He's in there. He's in there. And it makes it hard for me to deal with a holiday season like this. I said before, I'm constantly surrounded by death. I had been dead before. But no, I didn't turn out to be like a death eater or a death worshiper of any kind. I was just afraid of dying. I was also afraid of living. I was just basically afraid. But I had to do something. right now I'm questioning myself. Do I really need to do something? Do I really need to? I'm kicking my ass over this shit. It's not easy dealing with memories. It's not easy dealing with a collapse of memories that are just bearing person alive. It's not easy dealing with a heavy duty loss feeling, especially when your loved ones are no longer there. The people that you actually gave a hoot about. And when you finally realize that they actually meant more to you alive than dead, how does it affect a person? I'm fighting the tears and I'm fighting the urge again to go crazy. I'm fighting it. Because I don't want to go through it, damn it. I won't start bawling on a damn camera. Shows I'm human. Also shows look at how fucking full I am. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I'll cut this off.